A game is on. We are looking at the first round of 8 match here at the GO4Heroes Monthly Final. And currently in the game we have Nexo versus mYinsanity in the upper bracket. To the left side here on our first map in the best of 3 series on Dragonshire, we have to the left Vortex on the Tigers, Alastor on the Falstad, Grand Paquette on the Malfurion, Lucifron playing the Arthurs, and LOL versus XD on the Vala. Triple assassin, single tank and a healer. To the right side of the map, mYinsanity, just a few minutes ago successful against Faculty, with Ace of Spades on the Brightwing, Kaysil on the Nazebo, Lowell on the Mirrodin, Frats on the Chen, and Shinobu on the Hammer. Really interesting moves that we have there in the picks and bans. Banned was Abathur, and then also I think the Stitches was banned. No, yeah, I think that Abathur was definitely banned. Actually, I'm thinking about the second ban. Right, Zeratul, there we go. Zeratul was banned, and then also the Abathur. Drawing a blank here for a second. We have that 4-man rotation that we saw in Faculty pull off this time by mYinsanity. They have 4 heroes already in the mid lane, with the tank starting to do his damage and pushing the opponents back. And this is going to be an absolutely awesome game for a very simple reason. These two combos colliding with each other, like clashing against each other, that should be a lot of fun. We have the Malfurion being picked deliberately here by Nexo. They actually did not go for any kind of move where they just said like, okay, listen, we're going to go for the Uther here, for the normal pick. Nope, they went for the Malfurion. They want to play it with the silence, and this is going to be a very interesting lineup for them. They have the heal over time, like no burst heal as the Uther would have supplied them with or anything else, but they have triple assassin, and that's where all that damage is going to come from. Just going to just dish out as much damage as they can, trying to move in with that. And the interesting stuff is that we have the Nazebo taken from their opponent. mYinsanity with the Nazebo can do so much damage right now. They have so many squishies, Nexo that is, that it's going to be extremely tough for them to really stay alive for their heroes. The thing is, like, if any team can pull that off, then it is Nexo. These guys are absolutely incredibly strong here. At the top lane, the two tanks going up against each other. Bottom lane, that's where we have Malfurion. Alastor is also there. Grand Paquette and him, they are trying to just like push that back. The tank, an interesting touch that we see from mYinsanity there, trying to make that tank work again that they already played once against Faculty. Successfully, I might add. We have the 4 talent now coming in, and mYinsanity is pretty much doing what they did against their opponent's team. Shinobu just like dropping for a second, but already back to business. But as you can see here, the builds for them, are very much the same. And when we are looking at the builds on the other side of the map, then we have, of course, very, very standardized builds on the Tigers, going not for the grenade on 4, but instead like going for the overkill build, like full-on damage. That's what we're currently seeing for the teams here. So they really just want to go for the DPS with that, and this is going to become an absolutely insane clash of like strength once we have the 10s in there. This is going to become a real brawl, just both of them just going for the early kills there, or at least with the level 10 trying to just put as much pressure on single heroes as they possibly can. Both shrines already taken, but the bottom shrine is now claimed by the red team, which is mYinsanity here. The tank already in a good spot to defend it as well. Alastor healed up by the healing ward that we see dropped from the Malfurion, who really goes for most of the heal that he could possibly dish out. 4 heroes down at the bottom. It's a 4 versus 4, LOL versus 60, trying to claim the shrine, can't really pull it off just yet. And this game is just so damn awesome. I mean, round of 8 match between mYinsanity and Nexo. Are you kidding me? These two teams have been at each other's throats for like an eternity. And so far, I think, in tournaments at least, Nexo was always the victor. And this is the series that mYinsanity really wants to break right now. And at this point we have Vortex and LOL versus XD just in the mid lane up to the top. What do we have there? It's Lucifron versus Lowell still. We have also one camp already taken. Bribe is coming into play here. It's also going to be interesting to see if we are going to have Mercenary Lord from Kaysil taken once again in this game. That would definitely help them to control the map again with, of course, those Mercenary Lord improved mercenaries. That was quite a mouthful, by the way. And, well, he's still thinking about it. He hasn't picked it just yet. We have also the first aid taken here by the siege tank. Kaysil not making a choice just yet. And on the other hand, what do we have for... We have a Loon's Grace here for the Malfurion. Increasing the range of Regrowth, Moonfire, and the Entangling Roots. That's what he currently goes for. Down here, still the pressure, and it's the Git Bin. It's not going to be the Mercenary Lord. This time, KSL changes his mind and goes for the Git Bin instead. So going for the kind of standard talent on the Malfurion here. Nice attack against Ace of Spades up at the top lane, and Venom being used already. And Ace gets being dropped. Oh, yes, in the last second, LoL versus 60. Multi-shot just hits him there. So the first kill to the Spanish team. The Spanish Armada is trying to gain its momentum once again. And down to the bottom lane, that's where Shinobu is currently trying to just like push in one of the walls. He's already moving towards that with the rest of his team. Up at the top lane, that's where really the Spanish team is currently dominating. And they of course take a bit of an experience lead here as well with that early kill that they got. And also with the heartbeat that we've seen on the lanes for them constantly. Alistar with a barrel roll, getting away there in the last second. The Regrowth is also stopping two of the heroes in their tracks. Ace of Spades and Freds are being locked down for a second. So for the tank, they could really outmaneuver him. He didn't really do too much damage just yet. And look at that experience lead that we suddenly have for them. El Nexo always does that somehow. I do not understand how. It's crazy. Like, they are doing such a great job with keeping those heartbeats on the lanes, catching all of the creeps there, getting the additional mercenaries, getting a kill here, getting a kill there, and they're moving into the mid lane now with two heroes, trying to drop actually Freds here, and Freds is in a lot of trouble. And he might die. That shrine is going to be taken in just a second, and they're going to break the Dragon Knight, aren't they? Yes! Look at how well the Arthas up here was actually making sure that that shrine is not gonna lose, that he's not gonna lose control of the shrine. Just barely surviving. The Chen even being killed, and suddenly down in the mid lane, Vortex moves in, takes the first tower down. 5 minutes in, those Dragon Knights, of course, not gonna be the end of days for mYinsanity, but it is still quite annoying for them. They have to react to now what's happening, and they are also losing one of their walls here. Another punt that we see by Vortex. Might have tried to punt the tank instead, but we already have Vala moving down to the bottom, and that experience lead that we are seeing for El Nexo is of course now only increasing with them, just making sure that they're getting every single creep down there. At the top, we have 3 heroes starting to push in, and now with the heroic abilities that we of course have, we have Napalm, the Rain of Vengeance, it is Tranquility on the Malfurion. Instead of the Twilight Dream, so he's going for the health ultimate here instead of going for the silence, which is usually what we see a lot when Malfurion is being picked, but he's just trying to get that area heal in as we are running with 3 assassins, and for them he needs some area heal. I guess another support that they could have gone for is the Lily if they really want to just look at that. But when Malfurion, if used correctly, can do a lot with Tranquility, putting great numbers out here for the heal, and then the added benefit is of course that he also has still that Entangling Root, which is helping him quite a lot. Blink heal being chosen for Ace of Spades, that Annihilating Spirit, that's going to be the tough nuts to crack. That's really where we have El Nexo to somehow make a stand. Maybe with Vortex Grenade they can interrupt it, maybe they can just use Malfurion for that, but they somehow need to make sure that that Ravenous Spirit is not gonna take them down, because they are extremely squishy in the back lane, back line up, and that's where they have to be very, very cautious. Right now we have the 13 talents already taken, Frost Shot being used here, and that's actually like a pretty smart move considering that we have heroes that you really want to outmaneuver. Especially, of course, with the Muradin and the Chen being the frontliners here. We have once again also Overkill being used on the Tigers, as you can see on the 16, with the Muradin going straight for that rewind. Malfurion didn't really pick his talent just yet, but we have them already pushing in that wall here. And so far, it looks like mYinsanity is still way behind in experience. They don't get the 13 talent. That timing for El Nexo is impeccable. They move in, they take that forward at the top lane. We have actually only three heroes trying to defend here. The rest of them is soaking experience in the middle and trying to take one of the towers down, especially Lowell, who's now being attacked by the Falstad. And up to the top, we have Ace of Spades doing the same thing. They finally reach the 13, and, well, now we have Rewind being taken on Malfurion. He actually waited a long time to get that, but now there it is. Lowell being saved, not by the Bell, but by Brightwing, as he's trying to just move back there. And we have now, of course, the speed upgrade started on the on the Zebo. Double rewind on Brightwing and on the Muradin. No surprises there. We should actually see like the flying kick improvement on the Chen now, and we already have the mines on Shinobu, we've seen already being used earlier by him. But the Dragon Knight is up again. Oh, Tyke is being dropped down here in the middle, and that is that Ravenous Spirit that we've been talking about. Tigers is down, and Lucifron is now suddenly in trouble as well, at least for a second, until he reaches the safe haven of his allies. But now, of course, they are down one hero, and that means that they might lose a Dragon Knight there. The bottom shrine hasn't been taken yet, and that's the big win for them. 15 seconds on the Tigers, but it looks like mYinsanity just says, like, okay, we might not get the Dragon Knight, but we still can try and push in that fort. The heroic abilities, most of them are down. The Reign of Vengeance is still there. Arthas does not have his Army of the Dead any longer, though. He needs to wait for that. Commandeer Odin Grand Paquette with a Twilight Dream, and he's using it. Oh, not the Twilight Dream, but of course Tranquility. He gets dropped regardless, and that's the kills that mYinsanity was looking for. Vortex is back. He tried to go for the counter kill. Shinobu goes down. And Lowell with a stun against 2, but he might actually not make it here. Here comes Alastor on the fall stat. Is he trying to fly in? No, but Lucifron moves in. Where's the Howling Blast? He slows him down first. The Howling Blast is just finishing him off. 3 heroes down, 5 kills against 2. And now in the mid lane, Freds is being interrupted on the Dragon Knight and dropped as well before he can use his heroic. Wow. Storm, Earth and Fire not being used there, and suddenly it's once again a complete turn of the situation. Level 16 on the board for the Spanish Inquisition now. Mercilessly they take another Dragon Knight, or about to, with Lucifron capturing the top shrine. Vala's just moving into the middle. LOL versus XD is gonna get that DK. No problem whatsoever, and that extra talent is of course helping them out. Executioner is such a great talent on Vala if you have Frost Shot taken on 13, and then of course if there's an Arthas in your team as well, then you are in a peachy spot where you can just like do damage that is absolutely out of this world. We have at the same time also now the double stone skin on the Tigers and on the Arthas, and as you can see here, the Tenacious Roots on the Malfurion. Really nice talents that we see for El Nexo, and they are just taking another fort and start to move up to the top once again. Looking a bit at the damage here, the hero damage in particular. So far 13,000 on the Vala and 17,000 on the Falstad. Let's see how that is actually going to change now over time, now that we have the additional Executioner talent on the Vala, which should really do very well with, of course, the Arthas once he uses his skills, and with also, of course, the 13 talent on the Vala, which is the Frost Shot. Oh, nice Howling Blast against Kesil here, but still not doing too much. 17 versus 15, the talents. It's game number 1. This is game number 1 of the best of 3 series, yet the monthly final, every single match is a best of 3. And mYinsanity, they lost earlier against Faculty already the first match, but were able to bounce back and win 2 in a row. And so far, they haven't even lost this match just yet, but they've already proven more than only once that even when they are behind, they can come back. And that's not only true for a series and for a best of 3, but that's also at the same time, of course, true when it comes down to a situation in the game. But still, they need the 16 talent, and they need it fast. They're currently looking to get it, and there it is. So at least when it comes to talents, they're fighting on even footing with their opponent right now. And let's have a quick look at that. Oh, there comes the move in! Oh, the Reign of Vengeance against Lowell drops him right away. Oh, nice Ravenous Spirit. Kills at least the Malfurion and takes down maybe Vortex. He moves back in the last second. Lucifron is in trouble though. Lucifron going down with the last final Howling Blast against Eights of Spades. But there goes the Chen, and they're trying to get more than that. The tank is trying to escape here, but a very small chance of that happening now that he's even slowed down by the Frost Shot. That's the drop that they were looking for. Even with the Ravenous Spirit setup that they just had there, they were not able to win that last fight. Great moves here by El Nexo once again. And if I was on mYinsanity's roster, I would despair by now going up against this team, because the Spaniards, they are just doers. Spaniards, I don't even know what's correct anymore. Like, my mind is completely foggy here, blown away by that performance. Once again, they win team fights where they lose a hero early on in the fight, and then suddenly they just turn it around. They drop 2. The Ravenous Spirit was in a great position there from the Nazeebo, but it just was not enough. Even when the Arthur's kill is killed and the tank is out of the way, then suddenly they still turn things around and win it. They have the DPS and they use it. And talking about the DPS, the Vala is really now high on the heels of Falstad, trying to just contest that siege as that the hero damage that we see there. Top lane Shrine is already taken. They're moving straight for that. And well, up to the bottom right, what do we have there? We see them already moving in. We already talked, that's going to be a trade by the way, Fort versus 4, as we see the bottom lane being pushed there as well. But we talked a little bit about healing as well. So Brightwing and Malfurion currently with nearly exact the same amount of healing thanks to the Tranquility that we had picked up on the Malfurion instead of the Silence. So we do not have the Twilight Beam, it is Tranquility here. All of the heroics are up for both teams, and I was talking about the trade in forts, which was not the case, by the way. They were able to get the fort at the top but not at the bottom. Look at those moves! Kaysil dropping the Revenant Spirit, but he himself gets interrupted by the Vala. Really nice job. And once again, the Arthas is in trouble, but he might get away there, and he does. And now it's time for Lowell to just run. The Howling Blast misses him down here. Ace of Spades is already TPing out. Most of those heroic abilities are down, and certainly all of El Nexo are currently down. We still have Napalm and Blink Heal up. Duh, small surprise considering the cooldown that they have on that. But they're moving down to the bottom. They want to make sure that there is not another Dragonite. They cannot afford to lose another Dragonite fight. And they are already there. In jumps the Chen and drops the Tychus. Tychus down. That's a lot of the DPS that they were just missing. Alastor! Alastor! He's trying to get away! No, the Napalm kills him. The Napalm kills him. And Ace is taking the shrine, at least he wants to. He blink heals in to save one of his allies. Another Napalm shot takes down the Vala, and suddenly it's 3 heroes down for Nexo. 18 versus close to 19, and they are just moving in for it right now. They want to have the fort, and they should be able to get Dragonite. They should be able to get the Dragonite. The Spaniards, they are starting to have a bit of trouble now. Suddenly the Brightwing going back, starting to go up to the top, moving in. He wants to get, of course, that shrine, but Arthas is already on the way. He's already there, down to the bottom lane. That's why we have the push with the tank. Always a good option. That Napalm alone already does a shit ton of damage. Grand Paquette moving back. 3 heroes are still down, and they're going for it once again. Are they able to kill the keep here? Are they able to go for it? Shinobu is already sieged up using the Napalm. Once again, they're going for the turret. Brightwing jumped in too. It's now a 5 versus 2, 5 versus maybe 3. The keep goes down. Arthur's finally moving back as he realizes that he does not have to protect the top. Grand Paquette maybe with an attempt to go for a root. Does he get it? No, but he gets the Moonfire in. Gets the Moonfire in, but that of course didn't help him here too much. So suddenly mYinsanity turned things around just like that. With a flip of their fingers, they were able to just like get the turnaround here. 7 kills against 9 now. 19 versus 19 with a lead in experience for mYinsanity. And they are starting to move into the middle of the lane. They're trying to capture the top shrine at least. Both shrines now under the control of El Nexo. But Ace of Spades is there. Saving the day for his team. Getting again a shrine and able to run with it. The 20s are going to be important for them. We have potentially 1, 2, actually 3 resurgence on the side of mYinsanity. When we're looking to the left for the blue team, for El Nexo, it's a bit different. We only have 1 resurgence there. And then, of course, Tranquility is going to become important. We might have a lot of mobility with potential blink on the Vala, Falset, and Tychus. But also the added damage, if they decide to go for the boost here, is going to be pretty incredible. Good job, by the way, by Brightwing, soaking experience in the mid lane, trying to get that 20 first. And they're going to get that Andy second right now. And there it is, the level 20 ability. There it is, the Annihilating Spirit and triple resurgence together with a shield granted by the Brightwing. And the move up at the top where we have El Nexo losing another fort. But they get the 20. They get the 20, and both teams are now on the exact amount of experience. Whereas we see 1 additional keep taken out, of course, by mYinsanity. They're able to drop that. Commandeer Odin, here double blink. Vala and Falstad both went for the blink here. Malfurion didn't pick yet. Is going to pick soon. Probably in the next fight there. What's he going for? And, well, yeah, the mines already being attacked there. Those mines with the extra knockback, super annoying, but they actually don't detonate. Job well done. Still Grand Paquette waiting for the next pick. We have down to the mid lane. That's where currently most of the action is at. Both shrines under control of mYinsanity, and this fight is potentially determining the outcome of this game. Both teams are just angling for it. Here comes Vortex with his heroic ability. Lucifron with the Army of the Dead. The Annihilating Spirit is already moving in. Kaysil is not interrupted. Kaysil is not interrupted. Nobody interrupts Kaysil. He gets the Spirit off. He kills the Arthas. Arthas has still resurgence, but Kaysil moving in once again. Grand Paquette is going for the heals here. Is being interrupted though, and he's being jumped as well. No kill against mYinsanity just yet, but Vortex is still on the move, and he's nearly on full HP. He wants to drop one of them. He goes for the nuke. Can he get a kill there? Ace is low. The rest of the team is there. Arthas is back. Vortex, they're about to kill Kaysil, and they get him. Kaysil is down, and they are playing a 5 versus 4 right now. Alistar is moving back in the last second. So it was the Arthur's kill that we saw from mYinsanity, but of course with his option to just like go for Resurgence, he came back into the battle, and then the Nazebo was dropped here. Well, both teams are now angling towards the shrines. We have especially Lucifron in trouble. Lucifron getting isolated. The Howling Blast is hitting 3, but he gets dropped again, and he's going to be down for 60 seconds. This should be a Dragon Knight for mYinsanity. Looking at the damage, let's see the hero damage once again. Just looking at that, 49,000, 47,000. Vala still trying to just like surpass Alistar on the Falstad here. Camp being taken at the top lane. There's Falstad trying to protect the shrine. Level 21 versus 21. Cooldowns on most of the rogue abilities. 3 catapults, 4 catapults already down at the bottom lane where the keep is missing. Up to the top, the Falstad moving back already. Alistar with a quick B trying to just like team up with the rest of his mates. 30 seconds still down on the Arthurs. Only 3 on the Nazebo. That's when they want to fight. That's when they want to go for it. That's when they want to go for the shrine. Once again, they could move up to the top, and I think they're going to do that in just a bit. Another camp has already been captured, and that puts more pressure onto El Nexo. El Nexo, 10 kills versus 9. They have 10 seconds on the Arthurs. Muradin is moving up to the top, moves back as they realize that they might get a kill in the middle or just push in together. They actually do not go for the Dragon Knight. They have only Ace of Spades still there. The only one pushing the top. They're trying to go in the middle, and with the Napalm, they're already taking down the tower. Another 400 XP ending up in the hands of mYinsanity, increasing their experience lead a bit, but at this point it's only about the stats. Getting the level 22 before your opponent does will only give you a few stats. Brightwing capturing the top shrine, but 5 people are back for the team down at the bottom. There's the attempt to capture it. The Dragon Knight! Shinobu is too late. Shinobu is too late. Oh my god. Like right now, this is getting insane here. 5 versus 5. Both teams looking for an opportunity to maybe isolate a hero, drop one fast, get a Rain of Vengeance in, and of course follow that up with an additional stun, maybe the Howling Blast into Rain of Vengeance. They're trapped by mYinsanity. They're trying to just like go for a kill, maybe against the Vala, maybe against the Falstad. Ravenous Spirit is already there. Vortex is down. Vortex is stunned and down. Vortex is dead. He didn't escape there. Alistar is in trouble. Rain of Vengeance being used. Ace of Spades is low as well. Lucifron getting polymorphed, and at the same time they are jumping in with everything they've got, and they have a lot. They have 5 heroes, and all of them are hot for Arthur, and who's not? I mean, the guy's a prince. So right now we have him already down, but Resurgence was up again, but it's Dragon Knight time. This is the time for the Knight to shine. They're going into the middle and they're trying to grab it, and Frets is already on it, and he gets it. The Dragon Knight is moving in, is on the way to the left side, trying to drop not only the fort, they are out for more than that. They want a lot more than that. Look at that Dragon Knight just hammering away. One hit alone, nearly dropping half of the tower. Look at that damage! Tower is already down. He's moving in. 4 heroes are still up for El Nexo. They are under so much pressure, and here comes mYinsanity. They are moving into the mid lane. The tank is still there, and that keep is in trouble. The Taika is still not ready yet. Goodbye first keep, or second keep actually, that is. The Napalm alone on Shinobu is doing the deed, and Frets just drops it, moves back, and Tangling Root hitting 3. Ooh, that got dangerous for just a second. Just picture that situation with the Stitches on the opponent's team. Oh boy, that would have been quite something. But that level lead, nearly an entire level right now, and they are already moving up to the next camp. Camps, that's what they can do right now. They've already lost. At this point, every single time when you go up in a 5 versus 5 again, the score resets. Every single time. You have to look at the situation that you have, and then it's all about the next team fight. Situation right now is 2 keeps down. Lanes are being pushed in. You take whatever you can in mercenaries, and you try to prepare yourself for the next team fight. And make sure that you have the option to go into a team fight with having 5 heroes on the line. Oh, there we go. The attempt to move in there. Brightwing is already there, and they're just capturing the camp. They're trying to go for the camp. Oh, Frets, he didn't want to go there. He did definitely not want to go there. Dodging the Howling Blast, though. Really well done. Oh, and they're jumping in. They're trying to go for Lucifron. Army of the Dead is being used. Look at Kaysil back here, doing so much damage against Lucifron. And while Lucifron is occupied, oh, Shinobu and Lola in trouble. They are being Howling Blasted. Oh god, that root. And immediately the follow-up up at the top. Lucifron is about to die, and he's down for a minute, and it looks like Tychus might die as well. Nope, he doesn't, but he drops out of the form. 2 heroes down. The Muradin is dead, and also the Brightwing. Brightwing and Muradin both dead. That damage with the triple assassin is absolutely insane. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. We've seen, especially Casey with his positioning on the Nazebo, is doing so much work here. He got interrupted a couple of times earlier by the Vala, but he learned his lesson and is now even farther back, and that worked quite well. Look at that hero damage. He suddenly takes the lead with 67,000 on the hero damage, followed closely by Alistar and LoL versus XD. The healing, by the way, Brightwing with 74,000 against the 66,000 that we have for Malfurion. Now we have the Shrines up again. Level 23 versus level 23. Like, this game is insane. It's crazy. I love it. 25 minutes in, and each and every fight could end the game in favor of one team. It's great. It's really, really great. At this point, another camp already taken. We have up in the middle, that's where we have the Dragonite up for grabs again, but both teams, of course, in control of one shrine. The Moon Shrine taken by the red team, by mYinsanity. The Sun Shrine taken by their opponent. And, well, what exactly is happening down at the bottom? Pushing lanes back, going for the shrines again. 12 kills versus 12. It couldn't even be more even than it is right now. But, of course, those additional 2 keeps that already have been taken are important. The teams are exchanging shrines again. Exchanging them once more and moving as 5. Oh, this is so close. That triple assassin squad that we have for El Nexo is doing so much work, so much damage. You isolate a hero once and suddenly he's dead. But I have to give some credit here to mYinsanity, how they're currently running this. Not only the positioning from Kaisel is absolutely amazing, what I really love is how we always have whoever is caught out just like escaping. Do you see those Rain of Vengeance that we saw dropped by Vala? They were really good, but every single time they were able to get into a good spot for that. Uh-oh, there's the fight, and nice entangling route. The Howling Blast follows it, and they go straight for the Dwarf. They go for the Dwarf. Oh, that ultimate didn't hit anything. Oh, the Storm Earth and Fire is being used, and once again the Annihilating Spirit is just wrecking face. But in comes Malfurion, and he is like, don't worry, sons, this is my job. I'm gonna heal everything up, and he did. Suddenly, mYinsanity is on the run. The Spanish Armada is on the move once again. Full sails. They are just trying to conquer once again. They're moving down. All of their heroic abilities are down except for the Odin. In the middle, the Dragonite. They're getting the Dragonite. They're getting the Dragonite. Alistar gets the Dragonite. Lucifron dies, but he has Resurgence. The rest of the team is moving back, and the Dragonite just doesn't give a shit. He's moving straight into the mid lane, and he's like, guys, we're 26 minutes in. I'm gonna wreck face right now. And then suddenly he realizes that he might have to move back because we have 4 people moving in to kill him. So the Dragonite taken. That gives them, I guess, a bit of room to breathe. They have like 1 minute on him. The rest of the team should move in for that. This guy is hitting like a truck against structures right now. This bad boy with that axe, if that battle axe just like touches the tower, it just crumbles. The tower, you don't even have to touch the tower. The tower is so afraid from the Dragonite alone that, yeah, you can headbutt the tower and it would die. And there they go. They move in. This needs to be keep. They need to go for a keep right now, and they are trying. That last fight, oh boy, that Annihilating Spirit once again. But that healing by Grand Paquette here on the Malfurion. This time, he got it completely off against all of his allies. Look how that guy does damage. Like, holy shit, Blizzard. What were you thinking? Oh, and bam! Up against the keep, the rest of the team already there, the damage done, but Alistar is being pushed back again. Look at that keep dropping HP. Nice Howling Blast that we see there. At the same time, LOL again with the Auric ability. Kasil in the back. Oh, the punt, suddenly it's a 4 versus 5 fight. And there comes Freds again from the side, from the angle. And Alistar needs to move back for now. He needs to move a little bit farther back. Kasil is looking for an opportunity to drop his ultimate, and there it is. There it is. He once again moves in, and immediately the heal by Grand Paquette. Look at that healing. The tranquility is insane. He heals everybody up to full health again, and they are just on the run, moving back in. Vortex with the ultimate this time as well. Level 24 versus 24. This is absolutely crazy right now. Both teams like fight against fight every single time, killing 1, maybe 2, nothing else. The barrel roll over the edge, and then still the lockdown against 2 heroes. The chase is on. Freds is trying to get Alistar here. The barrel roll should be up in another second. Freds, is he going to be able to get in? Use the rewind. Use the rewind to get away, and they turn things around, and Freds goes down. The Chen is dead, but rewind, the Resurgence is of course there. Vala dies too on the other hand. and Vala does not have Resurgence. So a minute, 1 minute, well, Nexo is down 1 hero. This game is, like, this is not even funny anymore. This game is just, like, crazy. This game is not good for my heart. I'm aging here. Like, if I suddenly stop talking, then someone please call an ambulance, because I'm gonna have a stroke here. 109,000 hero damage on a Zebo. Vala with 91,000, leaving Falstad a sore 3rd place. And that is getting, I mean, especially with the Executioner talent. Oh my god. Like, this game is getting insanely good here. We are 29 minutes in. This is only the first map of potentially 3 maps that we're going to see between those 2 teams. And if you're just looking at what's currently going on here, then, I mean, if this is any indication of the next 2 games, then hell, I'm game. I'm a fan already. Vala is going to be back in just a bit, but let's go through the tabs a little bit. Look at the hero damage, the cease damage, the deaths as well. Arthas died 6 times. They dropped an Arthas 6 times right now. If you look at the time where the heroes were out of the game, Arthas was missing for 200 seconds. The close second is actually the Tigers on 157 seconds there. The teams are both rotating again, and we are 30 minutes into the game, which means the Dragonite at this point is so deadly he can basically, like, single-handedly take down the core, even with the entire team is up. And talking about core, it looks like they might actually just go for it. They're going for the back door. They're actually just moving in. What? Look at the damage! Look at the damage that those guys do. Holy shit! The core is down to 70% just because of the Siege Giants. Wow! The Siege Giants with a bit of attack just dropped 30% of the core. Just like that. Like it was nothing. Casually moving in the base, dropping a few rocks, and the core is nearly gone. Wow. That hurt, and that hurt a lot. And up at the top, Ace of Spades is moving towards the shrine, isn't he? Over here, look at that trap. Admiral Akbar is looking at this and he's happy. It's a trap! And, well, does the trap close around the neck of El Nexo? That's the only question. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't really look like it. Alistar is thinking about, he can't just simply fly in up to the top. He can't do that. Like, if there's 1 hero or 2 and he dies, that's going to be the end of the game. 30 minutes in, you know that your objectives are everything right now. This is, at this point, losing that. The Dragonite just, like, even if you kill a hero or 2 in the process, then suddenly the Dragonite just right-clicks the core and it can be all over. You've seen how fast he killed the Keep the last time. Since then we have a few minutes in and that Dragonite scales over time. And mYinsanity is just going for a trap here right now. They're just going for a trap. And El Nexo knows it. El Nexo knows it very well. El Nexo is also quite afraid that they might backdoor. They don't know what's going on there. They don't know where they are. They've seen the Brightwing. They've seen the Brightwing as he's pushing back lanes, but they don't know where the rest of the heroes are. And as long as the shrines are not both taken, they know they don't need to do anything. Then suddenly they're moving into the mid. Shinobu is already there. Of course, now they see them. Kaisil, is he going to land another ultimate like that? This guy is such a good pick by mYinsanity. When they lost our Aragi, like, finding him, that was such a good move by them. Great player. The positioning on the Nazebo that he had in this game was crazy good. Like the last few ultimates. Did he even get interrupted once? I don't think so. He every single time got that in, and this is so damn good. Right now, this is the round of 8, by the way, boys. And these 2 teams, I mean, in my opinion, they both deserve to be in the finals, but so do a few other teams. So right now, Shrine at the bottom, being taken. We have at the right side of the map another camp already being grabbed. And what's gonna happen next? Yep, those guys have to be taken out. 25, level 25. When was the last game, the last time you've seen a competitive game that went to level 25 and 32 minutes in? I know for me it has been quite some time. Of course, we've all had very long games in, like, pubs when we just, like, played on ladder, but this is quite something. Oh, there they come. Are they able to move in? Nope. That's the time in the game when both of them are like, why didn't we pick Stitches? Why did we not pick Stitches? The hooks would fly left and right now. But they didn't. So 13 kills against 14 kills. LOL versus the Grand Paquette, they all just waiting. Look at that setup here. Both of them, so much respect for each other. I mean, they faced each other countless times, and nobody really wants to be the one that makes one dumb move. One hero in the wrong spot taken out, and suddenly it snowballs. They all want to make sure that that next fight is going to end in their favor. And this is just insane. Mid lane, that's where we see the attack right now. We have, well, at the bottom, the Brightwing. He's jumping in. Lucifer already extremely extremely low, and they're just running for now. The Dragonite is there. They have the Dragonite. Such a clutch timing. The Dragonite for mYinsanity. This is bad. This is really bad. This is extremely bad for Nexo. But they're pushing them back. They're pushing them back for now, and that buys them time. 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's how long that Dragonite is still going to be on that map. They are being pushed completely, and they wait out until the Commander Odin is over, until the ultimate is completely run out, and then they will turn around and will move in. And that's exactly what we're going to see right now. mYinsanity, are they moving in or not? Are they really leaving that Dragonite as is? The Dragonite is still there for like a minute, and the Odin ultimate is gone. No heroic ability there anymore, and no heroic for the Army of the Dead. They don't have that anymore. And they just want a backdoor, don't they? Oh my god, they want a backdoor. They want a backdoor. They want to force them back. They want to force them to TP back. They're rushing it. They're rushing it. They're backdooring. And what's happening? Are they actually trying to finish it with the Dragonite? They might be faster. The Dragonite is so strong. They might be faster. It's a race. It's a race. They go for it. They go for it just now. Look at that. 69, the Dragonite, no! Holy shit! GG, the DK drops it in 3 swoop hits. The 1-0 for mYinsanity. They've done it. They've actually done it. The 1-0 lead in the best of 3 for mYi. Alright boys, second game is up. The first one was amazing. That finish at the end between mYi and Nexo was great. And now we're looking at game number 2 with in the best of 3 series with Vortex on the Abathur to the left side of the map. We have Alistair on the Falstad. Lucifron is playing the Chen here. LOL versus XD on the Nubarak. And Grand Paquette on the Uther. To the right side of the map, 1-0 in the best of 3 series. We have Ace of Spades for mYinsanity on the Brightwing. LOL on the Illidan again. Frats on the Muradin, Kasil on the Vala, and Shinobu is playing the Tychus this time. Bans in the game have been Zeratul and Nazebo. Especially, Nexo didn't want to face a Nazebo regarding how much damage he did in the last game. They were looking at that and were like, lol, that's not gonna happen to us. Now we are suddenly on Blackheart's Bay, a map that we don't see all that often in competitive play. Usually it's one of the maps that is being like picked out first. But right now we have both teams just fighting for the top spot here. Down to the bottom we have the Abathur starting to push in with Vortex controlling him. And of course there's the Chen right here. Still that trap up in the middle. It's all about the chest that spawn at 15 in-game seconds. You want to get as much damage to your opponent's heroes as you can before that happens. We have actually an Nubarak in the game, which is really interesting to see, since in the last patch he got hit hard by Blizzard's Banhammer. Or the Nerf Hammer, if you so want. One of the things that they removed from him completely was Rewind, and that really hurt him quite a lot. But they also nerfed the shield and the heal that he gets from his heroic ability. Top chest goes completely now, except for I think 1 coin, to mYi. And down at the bottom where we have like suddenly Falset flying in, Lowell is in trouble. Lowell might actually die here. Lowell is about to die, and there he goes. Lowell is down. Illidan was not prepared, and there we have Alistair and Lucifron just like now at the bottom lane starting to push that in a bit as Abathur jumped up to the top. So with Abathur in the game, which is actually like quite interesting since we haven't seen him today in so far 4 games yet, we are having now a position where especially the level 16 talent is going to become extremely important. On the 16 talent he gets the Locust Brood, also known as the Triple Locust, and with that Abathur gets a lot of presence on the map. Especially of course when it comes down to the siege damage. Nice move here against Ace of Spades, and boom! The Brightwing gets blown up here. Really well done. LOL vs XD gets healed by Grand Paquette in the last second, because at this point he has still 4 coins, but they're trying to get Shinobu and they might. No, the stun not hitting home here, and Brightwing is already back to business with a quick jump in. Ace of Spades, is he going to go for the pole? There it is, and Alistair just moves back in time. So the first 2 kills go to Nexo. They get a really good start into the game, and at this point we have down to the bottom still Frats versus Lucifron, the Dwarf against the Panda. And, well, the Dwarf needs to be careful because he's already extremely low in hit points. Up to the top, what do we have there? LOL vs XD still on. There's no turn inches yet. They have their coins, but they don't turn anything in yet. Looking at the talents once again, having a quick look of what exactly is going to happen here. We have actually a bit of a hybrid build here on the Abathur. I personally think that the W build on Abathur is now extremely strong, and he goes for W on the first one, but still goes for the increased damage on the spines on level 4, which surprises me a bit. Because usually when you go for the W on the 1, the W on 4 is going to help you a lot with getting the extra siege damage out there. But apparently he's not really afraid of doing enough siege damage. He wants to be someone who can really participate in the fights as well. And that's why we see exactly that happening now. So the move down to the bottom here again, trying to bribe that and capturing the camp. Really interesting by them, by the way. Completely letting that go. And also we see now both teams angling towards the middle for a potential turn-in, with Khaldor dropping even the multi-shot to eliminate the mines that we saw from Abathur. We have Alistair pushing Lowell back in the mid lane, and that's really the thing that you want to go for. You can really see that they want to drop the tower, because if they kill this one, then the first chip that they drop in the middle will help them to just like take down the first fort. And it's going to be extremely important to do that, especially for mYinsanity. It's going to be very important to do that as fast as they can, because we will see the mule on Abathur. Actually, we do so already now. Mule taken, and the mule is probably on Haunted Mines and Blackheart's Bay. Those are the strongest maps for the mule, because that's the maps where you have the objectives do all that extra damage to the of course structures that you have. So that's one of the things that we're going to see there later on. We already have one additional camp taken. Mercenary Lord on the 7 now on the Anubarak, trying to control the mercenaries, and the chests are up again. No team has turned in a single coin, and they have a lot of coins right now. Looking at the coins, actually, like, we have an objective tab somewhere here as well. There it is, for the coins that we currently see here. We have 13 coins. Look at that, it's 15 coins already. They go up to 17 coins against 6. And the turn-in down at the bottom, that's the first turn-in that we have for myi. So all these coins that we currently see for Team Nexo, that might be quite nice. But the problem that they have with that is that they still have to turn them in. No mule, by the way, on Team myi, and he didn't see that coming, did he? No, he gets blown off the grid immediately. LOL vs XD on the Anubarak has 13 coins, and they're gonna go at another mercenary camp. Or I should probably say mercenary lord mercenary camp. And there we go. 15 coins. They have like they have basically 2 turners at this point. Not quite, but they're extremely close to that. Up to the top, there we have Grandpa Keta. Lowell is currently still looking to push him back. So much damage done already to the structures by Nexo. And now with this turn-in, they are definitely gonna get this fort. This fort is gonna be destroyed. And at the same time, you can see that Abathur Mule is doing his work and just like pushing that in completely. The 10 is also faster for Nexo, which is another problem for mYinsanity. It's not really that they have a timing window that they can use, but just the mere fact that we have them in a bit of an advantageous position when it comes to experience gain is of course quite crucial. That is a bold move, by the way. Moving in to take the boss like this early in the game, 5 minutes and 70. And it looks really like so far there's nothing that mYinsanity knows about that. They of course know that a few heroes are missing on the map, but they don't really seem to realize what's going on there. But they are all at the upper part of the map, and Frats is about to move in. They're going to check. Are they checking fast enough? No, they're not. Yes, they are. They move in. There comes the stun. Lowell is about to die, but he uses heroic ability. Metamorphosis is being used. Lucifron going for the triple panda. Yeah, it's all a fight for the boss right now, but the first kill against myi, and Lowell is not gonna make it either. No, he dies, and the panda is strong, but it's not strong enough. The Brightwing is dead, and there goes the golem. Khaldor is trying to run away. Well, good luck with that. He's already down, and LOL vs XD is trying to also get Shinobu, and he's gonna get it, isn't he? Yep, Alistair moves back on false stat, and Shinobu is gonna get stunned in just a second by one of these heroes. There it is. Lucifron jumps in and drops him 4 coins in the hands of Nexo. The boss demolishing the top 4 tier. Really well done. And that attempt to really catch the boss, I mean, if that goes the other way around, then suddenly it's a completely different situation. And mYinsanity is not only back to business, but has a massive lead in the game. As it happens, it's 8 kills against 0, level 13 versus level 11. And that is absolutely crazy right now. I mean, this siege damage that comes out from the Abathur now, alone with the assault strain here, the rewind, of course, on the fall stat, is going to give him a huge boost. This talent, Kaitina's plating on the Anubarak, makes him just so much harder to take down. And just with all those things lined up, we have a great position for Nexo to just control the flow of the map right now, get those mercenaries, get those extra coins. And talking about coins, 12 additional coins currently on the Anubarak. If they get to turn those in, and the ones that we have on Alistar and the rest of the team, then they should get another ship, and that ship is then definitely gonna drop the bottom fort. Actually, they're probably going to take that fort even before that happens and then focus on the keeps instead. And there we have already the mercenaries moving in, and goodbye fort. The turn in the middle. Even Vortex is there turning in a coin on the Abathur, moving back already. But this is going to attack the mid lane right now and put the first damage on the keep here. And they are going straight for the bottom now as 5 and start to move that in, while we have all the way up at the top a fort being killed. But they need to be back right now, and they are already moving back, but they're going to lose the wall. And every single building that you lose on this map means, of course, that the barrage from the ghost ship is going to hit the more crucial buildings like the keeps. They're taking down the first tower. Actually, they take down not a single tower. Both of the towers are still alive. You gotta be joking, right? No, there we go. One tower taken down and the second one nearly dying. But still the barrage is underway and in the mid lane. And that's why we have now the keep completely exposed. And of course up here, if you still look at this, the mule has been dropped once again, and that mule alone healing up all the stuff, this is just like extremely important as well. Nearly the 16 talent, that's of course the big problem that you have. Once you fall behind this much, you basically just like try to catch up in talents. And that's exactly why we are having Nexo not going for a single fight. They are saying, why would we fight you 13 versus 13 talents? We don't need to. We just can wait, we can play the map, we can play the objectives, we can make sure that we get the 16 talent before we engage into the next fight, and they're already looking for it. They're starting to jump in, and that 16 talent is going to hit any second now. The kill against the Muradin is giving them the extra talent. They're using it already, and there we go. Kaysil is in trouble, he's being followed, but the second kill is against the Brightwing. Oh my god, up here Lowell is trying to move back, but he's in trouble against Vortex. Might not die though. Down here it is Shinobu that tries to escape, but he's in trouble and probably going to be taken out. Grand Paquette is not even moving into him. Illidan is already dead and Shinobu dies as well. 4 heroes eliminated, not a single one killed. 12 kills against 0 after the last match where mYinsanity took their lead in the best of 3. Apparently Nexo was just saying, you know what guys, I don't like losing, let's not do that again, and apparently the rest of the team agreed, and suddenly they're just like, they're wrecking their opponents. Kaysil and Freds, do they have a death wish, or are they moving in against that? Like, they move in against those double mercenary lord hard camps that we currently see, and at the same time there's another potential turn in, of course, now for Team Nexo. And they are doing work. They are doing a lot of work. They are in a position where they can capture that boss again if they want to. They can just turn in another ship, which is easy for them. That will drop the first keep in the middle. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, this right now is level 17 versus level 15. And that means not only 2 level ahead, that means an extra talent still. Down at the bottom, we should actually see the mercenary Lord Hero coming into play here in just a second. Anubarak should move in to make sure that he is involved into the capture of the camp, and probably to the left side we're going to see something very, very similar as Alistar is already preparing the next camp. And there it is. We have Lord versus XT with the mercenary Lord talent moving in, capturing the first, and then he's probably going to move to the left where Alistar is already preparing that, and that's exactly what he does. Doesn't capture it, instead it is really Lord versus XT who starts to move in and capture that. Of course, now with the keep is already down up to the top, this is going to be assailed as well, and that barrage did quite a bit of damage, and they still have enough coins. I mean, the coin count on them is currently, they have 10 coins at this point on the 2 heroes versus 4 coins for their opponent, and of course up to the top. That's why we have the boss now being attacked in just a little bit. That's what they want to go for. Kill that boss, kill it once again, and well, mYi knows that, and they're close to the 16, so they might actually go for it. I think it's more a trap than anything else, isn't it? Yeah, they're looking for a potential trap here. I'm not quite sure if they really want to fight this, but it's the 16 talent that we now have on the board for mYi as well, and both teams are just up at the top now. Which gives Abathur a lot of freedom at the bottom lane to start pushing that in. And I mean, look at this. Double mercenary lord enhanced camps moving in with a triple with Abathur. This means keep. This potentially, not potentially, this definitely means keep. I mean, right now they take that down. That keep is gonna fall. 14,000 hit points just gone like nothing. Goodbye. And of course, during all the time with the Brightwing at the bottom to defend, we have them just aiming straight for the boss here. Half of the heroes are still waiting for them to engage, and actually they can disengage. They disengage. It's a 5 versus 5. Lucifron is being jumped. He himself jumps in right now. Is starting to do the damage here. Oh, the shotgun on, hitting nothing. Nothing at all. Illidan was jumping out of it, and the rest of them wasn't even hit, so that didn't work. Suddenly the Panda is extremely low. Shen has to be careful. Vortex is in a similar position, but he has the copy up and hits the shock and all there. But the drop again, oh, that's 10 coins on Lowell right now with the drop against the Anubarak. And they didn't lose a single hero, and of course with that they can now just jump in and take the boss. We already saw, of course, the Brightwing moving back, and he's just gonna go with a quick Z up to the top and heal his allies up again. Is that maybe the comeback? Is that mYinsanity starting to turn things around? It's of course not as easy as that, but they're gonna get boss now. They're gonna get 2 additional coins. It's gonna be a ship for them if they get the turn in. At the bottom, on the other hand, we still have that second keep eliminated. That means a single keep is left, which also means that with the wall already nearly gone, 2 more ships are going to finish the game in favor of El Nexo. If they turn in 38 coins in total, then it's over. 38 coins, that's all that they need at this point. Maybe even less depending on how well Abathur is able to push the top lane. But of course they took quite a hit when Anubarak died, and they lost not only the fort in the middle, there's a turn-in coming against them, and they have still to deal with the boss up here at the top. But they still have all of their keeps, and it's not only the keeps, it's also the fort down to the bottom that they still have in under their control. Chests are up again now as well, and with the Anubarak being back to business, they need to start fighting for them. The turning is already there. Oh, Lowell actually gets interrupted. Lowell gets interrupted, and the attempt, over 60 moving back, gets stunned. Here comes Chen. All of them are there, but they don't have the copy on the Abathur. They do not have the Abathur copy. Or do they? No. It doesn't, no, they don't have one yet there. It's out of cooldown though. They could use it, but they don't have one yet, and they just like give it up. They say like, alright, let them turn in, we take the hit, and then we concentrate on it from there on out. We have the 20. They're close to the 20, and that's all that they want. They want to have the level 20 right now, and if they get that, they should be able to run with that advantage, but they don't have it just yet, and they are getting chased. Look how they are running away here. The only reason why they are running away is because they want to have the 20 before they fight. They want to have that 20, and they're trying to get it, and there it is! They get the 20, they get it in the last second, and now there's the fight. They turn around immediately, jumping in. Oh, Shinobu's in trouble as the shotgun just hit him. Kaisil is being dropped in a second. Those stun comps that we just saw against him, just too good. And Anubarak goes down, but he has resurgence. Gran Paquete is completely out of position there. He gets dropped as well, but he takes the Illidan with him. Lucifron has 4 coins, and he's starting to move back. He's going straight for Ace of Spades. Is he gonna get them? Ace? Ace? No, he doesn't get him. And he needs to move away now himself, but he goes for Shinobu, and he might be able to take down Shinobu. The dash is already gone. Is he going to jump in again? No, he doesn't. Lucifron moving back for now. Level 20 for them. 2 heroes down. They can get a turn in. Or what are they doing? They're moving straight towards the Knights. Are they going to try and go for them? We have still, of course, the opportunity for maybe the Abathur to do a bit more damage over here, and he's already, where's he going next? We have him jumping, of course, up to the top to help out here for just a second, and we're already seeing them in a position where they get another Mercenary Lord camp in. They're taking more coins down to the bottom here. That fort, if that keep falls, or if like even the tower, everything that falls here is going to be a big blow against the team right now, just because they don't want to lose. The problem is the following. If if the next bombardment is not only taking down the keep, but does a bit of damage to the core, then you get very vulnerable to backdoor attempts. And that is a big danger right now to mYinsanity. And right now you can really see that Abathur is starting to push this in. He wants that. He wants to take down that keep before they turn in, and he kills as much as he can before those coins are really turned towards Blackheart and being turned in right now. So we have, with a great play, El Nexo doing an amazing job right now. That run earlier when they were waiting for the 20. But right now they don't want to force another fight. They want to still wait. They are also still out of the Storm, Earth and Fire ultimate. They still have 4 seconds on that, and they take another mercenary camp. But now in the middle, that's where we have the fight, and the 20 isn't there. The interrupt on Frets. and they are moving back. They cannot turn in, and they know that. It's 21 versus 19. You don't want to fight that, but they might have to. They are dropping threats. No, they don't. The Avatar is there. The stun against him, and the Dwarf is dead. The Dwarf is dead. Taken out. Lowell stunned. Gets away. Oh my god, and Lolver60 just barely survived. Look at that. He has nothing. But we have a kill against Uther and also a kill against the Illidan. Oh my god, like Shinobu with the 20 now. He starts to move in. They are really starting to turn this around maybe. There's also another blink that have they killed Vortex. That's 8 coins. That is 8 coins that they just got. Kesil was trying to just like go for a kill there. Maybe if he would have blinked fast enough, he could have gotten in and taken him down. They're still putting pressure on Alistar, but of course the one big objective for them is to just like go in before the turn-in is completed, and they're getting it. They're getting the no, Ace of Spades turned in. Ace of Spades turned in, but Shinobu dies. Ace of Spades is just jumping away in the last second, and now we have 10 coins, 17 coins. That's a ship. That's an entire ship. What about the rest? Down here, Siege Shines pushing in, up here to the top. Abathur is dropping their keep. Is he? Yes. Keep is down. Keep is down, and now the core is being attacked. Boys, this is game. This is game. It's only the core and the entire ship. Even the shields are gone. This is game, ladies and gentlemen. They just won the match. They just have to right-click once more. Just look at this. This is the 1-1, 17 kills versus 5. And Lolver60 and his team Nexo, they just did it. They turned things around and forced game number 3 in this series here at the GO4Heroes Monthly Final between Nexo and mYinsanity. The final map between Nexo and mYinsanity. We are about to see the conclusion of the best of 3 here in the quarterfinal of the GO4Heroes Monthly. Vortex on the Abathur, Fall Nexo towards the left side of the map, Garden of Terror, Alistar on the Tigers, Grand Paquette on the Uther, Lolver60 playing the Anubarak again, and we have Lucifron on the Chen. Very similar lineup to what we saw in the last game. We have Ace of Spades currently on the Bright Wing for mYinsanity, Lol is playing the Mirrodin, Kesil the Falstad, Shinobu on the Vala, and Frats on the Stitches. The last game, definitely a bit of a domination match that we saw there by Nexo, but of course that highlight match that we saw on the first map, that was quite something. Dragonshire, that was an absolutely epic game that we saw there, and mYinsanity was able to win it. So right now they have an opportunity to, of course, win that out. Lolver60. That was pretty awesome. Like, hook that creep, hook it hard. Bad creep, bad creep. Yeah, they definitely showed that creep who's boss. Like getting that up there and moving in, but okay. Didn't really do anything, but actually like a valiant effort. I mean, you will get a lot of hero kills by that. A lot of teams are just like standing behind the gate at the beginning of the match, and then if you time that correctly, I guess you can get an easy kill here. There's nothing that they lost with that. It was just an attempt, and it was like low risk and high reward. That's basically what we just saw there. So in regards to the bigs and bans, we have the same bans that we saw in the last game. We have Zeratul and Azebo once again banned, and if you just like look at what we have in terms of the lineup, then we are seeing once again a double tank lineup for mYinsanity here, who rely on the Stitches for the initiation with a hook, and then of course for the Mirrodin with the extra stun. Even picking that over a Chen or over an Arthur's, that Mirrodin is getting a lot of action these days. And at the same time then, when we're looking at the board of Nexo, we are seeing that Chen again that was already showcased in the game earlier. We're having the Abathur getting through the pick and bans again, and that Abathur was starting to do a ton of work in that last game. At the beginning of the match, of course, without the copy, you're like one man down if it comes to the laning phase, but right now we have both teams just going for the initial seeds. On this map, objectives like seeds in the later stage of the game are basically everything. Trying to get that double plant where your opponent is denied his own is absolutely crucial. If you get that off, you are in an amazing position, but for that to happen, you need to establish some map control first and really dominate those seeds, and that's not really easy. We have for Abathur once again this hybrid build with a W and then going stay in the queue for the barbed spines. Besides that, the build's extremely similar to what we've already seen before. And if you remember that game earlier today, where we had mYinsanity already play once with the composition with the Stitches, we are having them once again down here with Chew Your Food and Amplified Healing. So whereas the Muradin is like the full-on tank that they have in their setup, they're having the Stitches for the initiation and the guy at the front line that they just can heal up the entire time. And that's where he's actually going to be extremely good at. What I personally find quite interesting is that the build that we have for, I think it's Kaysil on the Vala here, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's actually Shinobu. Shinobu went for Arsenal. Oh, nice moves here against those. The plan is growing already for mYi. Are they getting a kill as well? Grand Paqueta! No, gets away. Gets away. Thanks and kudos to, of course, the Abathar. Oh, Alistair! Yep, that is, of course, then unfortunate. If the Stitches hook is hitting you in that spot, you have no chance of escape. But yeah, coming back to my train of thought, the build that we see for Vala is a bit of a weird one. Getting the Siphoning Arrow here on the 1 and then the Arsenal on the 4 is something that you don't see all that often. Apparently he feels that he needs to have some additional like health income somehow, or something to regenerate some hit points there, not only relying on the Brightwing. And with that, I wouldn't really be surprised to see him also not go for battle momentum on the 7. I guess that's going to be revealed in just a bit. But it's still a build that you don't see all that often. Arsenal being picked over anything else, like Manticore, if you want to go for a right-click build, for example. And on the 1, not going for the additional multi-shot range. So it's a bit of a hybrid that we see in here by Shinobu. There comes the 7 talent in for both of the teams, and we already have Tenderizer on the Stitches, which is an important one. And there is still the battle momentum. Okay, so he goes for the battle momentum after all. With the build that he has. Full-on Storm build, by the way, for the Muradin. And at the same time, we have, of course, for the Abathar, the Mule started here. And Mercenary Lord again for the Anubarak. And that Mercenary Lord really came into play a lot on the last map, where we really saw Nexo dominate against mYinsanity. The big part of that is just like that you can control the mercenaries on the map and just like try to create additional pressure with the added hit points to the knights and the rest. And that might also help against the plant just a bit, but of course that plant alone, it kind of dictates where the plant has to move. If Lowell with the plant doesn't go down to the bottom lane, then that mercenary camp is really pushing in. But right now they can at least start to do some damage against the wall. Yeah, Alistair moving out of the polymorph circle up to the top lane. We still have like heroes on all of the lanes soaking up the experience for Nexo. But mYinsanity is starting to get a bit ahead with the kills against the structures that they're having right now. And they're closing in on the level 9. So that's going to be an important one for them. Getting the 9 first, moving towards the 10 would be great for them if they get more than that. And oh my god, like the hook against Alistair nearly dropped the Tychus. If they get that kill, then they're in an amazing spot. Right now they're just trying to protect the pot as much as they can. But LoL vs XD is starting to move in as well. The pot is once again being dropped. Grand Paqueta is hooked though. And even with the Abathar, he might not be able to escape there. The stun? No, but the polymorph and they get him. So that's the 2nd kill already for mYi, and the 4th is gonna fall there. They don't give Abathar a chance to mule that up, and there's the level 10. And with the level 10, we're having Strafe, we're having Gorge, we have the Blink heal as well, and all those heroic abilities, they of course are coming into play for the next fight. To the top lane, we see a bit of pressure play by Lucifron as well, which just says like, alright, when you're going ham at the bottom lane, I still might at least push in the wall up at the top, and that's exactly what he's currently doing. We have Lucifron just starting to move in here. At the same time, LoL vs XD is doing his thing with just like capturing one mercenary camp after another to really put some use to that mercenary lord, and he is doing a decent job with that. That's really going to be the danger as well. Like, the Mercenary Lord, of course, alone is already a great talent when you really want to put some additional pressure onto the lane with your mercenaries. But if you have an Abathar in the lane then as well, that on 16 jumps in and drops the Locust Brood and just goes for the triple Locust additional damage there, that is when all those pushes become even more dangerous. And that's going to be the important talent. Right now, ooh, there comes the hook again against Vortex, the strafe being used already on Shinobu. Vortex is moving in with a copy. Abathar copy, of course, going to be a very important one there. And as you can see at this point, we're already having, oh, that's done. Yeah, hitting 2 LoL vs XD and Lucifron, but there's nobody there to punish them. There's nobody here to actually just like say, alright, with that stun, we're actually gonna go for it and try to drop you right now. So that, at least for now, is not getting punished. Looking to the bottom lane, we see basically a split in seats for now. and they are moving straight for that, trying to capture that right now. There's the additional seeds for them. That's close to a plant, but not quite. So we have the second plant only for El Nexo. It's level 12 versus level 12 in just a second. Both teams are very close in experience, even though the only kills on the board are in favor of mYinsanity. Hook is down for another few seconds, so Freds does get a chance to isolate another hero. But up at the top, we've been talking about this already, those mercenary camps, they just do work. And if the Abathur is helping them out with additional pushing presence, then of course your lanes are under a lot of pressure. And that's exactly what we see happening to them. And of course Lucifron moves down to the bottom lane. He knows that the top lane is already getting pushed pretty hard by Abathur and the mercenary camp, and so they move down, drop the plant, drop the pot, and go straight for a kill over here against those two towers. Getting hooked in, and oh, nice polymorph! And Freds is completely out of position, and he has no chance of getting away there. That was just too much. Getting stunned and then getting polymorphed, that mass disable didn't allow him to do anything. He could have gone for a Devour and tried to get his hit point pool up again, but in that case there was just like no surviving this much pressure. The 13 talent now, of course, giving El Nexo an additional advantage, and that's what we saw earlier. Relentless take and the assault strain on the Abathur. We have the overkill build nearly perfected here with the 13 talent taken. The Uther is, of course, benefiting greatly from that sprint that just allows him to set up his ultimate even better in the next few fights. The plan is going to be alive for still a bit longer. We have also, yeah, there comes the Terror moving up to the top. 13 seconds that we still have on that. 10 seconds. Not really too much to do. 13 talent now also on the board for my MY, and that's of course once again where you really see just like how important that 13 talent is. With triple rewind, these heroes just became nearly twice as dangerous. If you have that on the Brightwing. Oh, a good hook against Lucifron, and the immediate, look at that immediate polymorph that we had there. But he gets the triple panda off. That shotgun or hit at least Lolver 60, but not much more than that, and Alistair is pushing the opponent back already with his Odin form. But they had to drop a lot of their heroic abilities. Gorge is still down though. Gorge is still down. That didn't get used yet. Abathur is pushing up at the top, and of course that level 16 talent. We've been mentioning it quite a bit, but still it is one of those crucial talents for Abathur. Probably the most important talent in the entire arsenal of Abathur. And I personally would with that even include, I think, the heroic ability. I think that 16 talent is just so much stronger even than that, just because it lets you put out all that damage, allows split pushing to a certain extent as well, and you can do a lot with it. But still, it does definitely a lot of work, and we're probably going to see Abathur just like start jumping around once he hits the 16, and then just like push those lanes in even harder than they already are, because at this point, with the Mercenary Lord being used by Lolver Steel all over the map, we have them putting a lot of pressure against mYinsanity, and you can really tell. But still, it's 2 kills against 1. It's level 15 versus level 14. Shinobu and the rest of his team are trying to just get as many mercenaries on their own as they possibly can, moving as 5 on the map now, of course, with the exception of the Brightwing that can always just jump in within a second, so there's no real need for him to move with the rest of the team as long as he makes sure that he doesn't get jumped here. We have them up to the top still, trying to angle for those seeds. Are they going to try lay a trap here? Not quite. It seems like it's going to be another division of, of objectives. Bottom is harvested by El Nexo, and they are having the 16 talent in just a few seconds here. And there it is. So the Assault Strain is being used. We have Imposing Presence, Stone Skin, the Epicenter, and Combination Attack. And Abathur is probably not going to waste too much time until he starts jumping around the map. Still waiting of what's going to happen there, because yeah, not quite sure what MRI is going to do. Abathur is starting to move on. Going straight up to the front and using the B button to be back. And that's exactly what I mentioned earlier. Bam! There it is. The camp pushing in and the assault strain. Now just look at that thing disappear. First tower about to be gone, and the second one is most likely also gonna fall. Way too much damage. And that is really where Abathur just like takes his strength. This is definitely it. And they had to, that Muradin to move back. Muradin, of course, now on the plan is starting to move up to the top, and he drops a quick pot there to take that threat out already. But of course, not before the wall has been completely eliminated. And now we have plant versus plant. That plant battle again, with Lolver 60 just moving into the mid lane, where you already have the rest of the team just waiting. The 16 talent is nearly there for mYi now as well, and there it is. So just before the fight they can use it with a fishing hook that is immediately being used to hit a creep and lure it in so they can be taken out swiftly. Alistar nearly getting polymorphed there. Brightwing, of course, now jumped in to make it a fair fight with a 5 versus 5. We also have... well, the overdrive is, of course, gonna become very important here. Well, if the overdrive is being hit with a good shock and awe, that can do so much damage. Vortex has the clone up, and with him moving in on the clone, another miss took by Frets, by the way. We're gonna see double Odin in just a bit, and that's another strength of the Abathur here. Abathur, where's that double Odin? Are they gonna push in for it? And yep, there they go. First Odin already being dropped. Vortex about to hit his spells against the keep. Gets hooked though. Vortex gets hooked and dropped out of the Odin form. That's already a lot of damage that they're missing out on. Grand Paquette runs in to stun a single target, but they're not dropping anybody. But here comes now the polymorph against both teams. Frets is in trouble. He's body blocked. He cannot get in. He cannot get through the gate in the last second. He manages somehow. That shock and awe didn't hit jack shit. And at the same time, well, the Odin form is already starting to drop here, as well as Alistar is being assisted by Vortex on the Abathur. And Lolver60 moving in for another stun. But Lowell comes in from the back and just tries to drop them as well. Oh my god, that hook. Just barely missing. And here comes the stun against Alistar. That retreat is not an easy one. They're trying to stun them out as much as they can. Grenades are hitting left, right, bottom, and center. But then they are still able to escape here. The hook attempt on... oh my god, that was a good one. That nearly hit Grand Paquette. But mYi is chasing them away. They're chasing them away for now. There's a bit of a trap that we see there. Are they really going to spring it? Are they going to go for it? They're missing one, and they jump in. They jump in. Oh, my God. They blow up the fall stat. They lose the camp, but still, there is the immediate strafe. Shinobu with the damage, but holy cow, this ultimate by Grand Paquette, so much better than his earlier one. Frets gets taken out. Lucifron is in trouble, but he hits the CAC. That old drunkard, that panda is just like once again hitting the bottle, and he gets rewarded with a double kill. And there goes Lowell as well. They wipe the entire team. El Nexo. I mean, what can you say about those guys? It's really, like, it's unimaginable. These guys are just so damn good. It's crazy. In the first map today, they were defeated by their opponent, but now suddenly they are back to their old strength, which is they just take kills. Those early kills that we saw for mY, those were the only kills that we've seen for mYi. And now there's 9 more seconds until we see night approach. And what does that mean? Seeds are gonna drop, and we are gonna see a magnificent position for, of course, Team El Nexo. They're gonna be in a fantastic spot here. There's 2 heroes still down as the seeds already appear on the map. Alistar just moves down to the bottom to get as many of the small camps as he can possibly take without dying here. And the rest of the team is already up at the top, where Stitches is like desperately attempting to do something. He probably doesn't even know what to do. I mean, right now we have currently the rest of the team moving into the mid lane, or at least not the team, but we have like this double camp moving in there. Nice attempt by mYinsanity, just like get this at the top, getting... oh, yeah, Fred gets stunned here. But yeah, they have a plan ready, and they just like can take the rest of the mercenaries before they really move in, and that's what they're gonna do right now. So that will already force the hand of mYinsanity, where they have to move with their own Garden Terror, and this is gonna get tricky. It looks for a second like Vortex is just using his triple Locust again. Actually, like, there's the Lotus Brood. Moving in with the Locust Brood, and yep, that puts pressure, of course, at the bottom keep. The top keep has already fallen like a long time ago. In the middle, look at those 4 bad boys. I mean, that's a tag team right there. These guys are doing work, taking another tower down, and those fatties here, they are not joking around, are they? We have the plant moving into the middle. Down at the bottom, that is where at least one pot has to be dropped to really stop that onslaught, because this is already doing work. That keep is out of ammunition and very, very low on hit points. In the mid lane, we see something very similar as the rest of the team is starting to move in. Abathur is sneaking down to the bottom, and he's going to go for another assault strain. He's going to go for the triple locust in just another second, and there they are. And now we can just be back, use the ultimate, and then go for the double Tychus again. And that's where they have their pushing power. The double Tychus, and at the front, a plant to take the damage. You have to, of course, to be careful that you do not run in a situation where you either get hooked or where you get polymorphed, because that could trigger an attack by your opponent in a quick attempt to like CC you to death. Oh, and there it is. That's exactly what we've just been talking about. Vortex is still there, and here comes the Odin. Goes for the first Odin, they move back. Oh, gets polymorphed again, but that keep is extremely low, and down here to the bottom at the same time, we have another keep already being attacked. This is a really bad spot for mYinsanity. The 20 talent is also on the board, and that makes all these things even more dangerous. Keep is down in the middle. Vortex is about to die, and the clone, which doesn't really make a huge change here. LOL versus XD is moving down to the bottom lane, where we have the keep already dropping. He didn't even have to move in. Abathur could have finished that off alone. LOL versus XD, that might actually have been a bit of a bad move by him. If he gets dropped out of the plant, he might get killed here immediately. I don't think he needed to go in there. And he gets polymorphed once, he gets polymorphed twice, and he is gonna die. He's gonna die, and he's trying to take Kaisel out in the process. And it's close, but it's not enough. So, with the resurgence, it's not a big deal, but I still think it was pretty unnecessary for him to lose the resurgence, just because Abathur could have killed that on his own. But I mean, if you are on the plant and you see a keep that low, then of course your fingers are itching to take that down, and that's exactly what he was trying to do there. Same time though, we only have like that lone tower here in the middle. That's the only tower, and cannon tower is still standing. There's nothing else. Everything else has been wrecked, but this cannon tower, this is like the symbol of hope that we have for mYinsanity, that they might turn this around. It is 6 kills versus 3. Grand Paquete is already there. He's being stunned. He uses his speed and moves in. Gets the entire Hurricane off. And that Shock-and-Awe did some work, but did it do enough? I don't think so. Freds is about to go down, but they killed... Yeah, they actually killed an Uberak first. And now they're going for Alistar. Oh, that last second R that he just used there. The kill against Kaisel, that brings them back to business. Abathur doesn't have a copy up though, and Alistar is gonna go down here. Alistar down, and Grand Paquete is on the run. On horseback actually, so that poor horse is probably getting treated really shitty right now. Lucifron is being healed. He drops another one. How the hell did they do that? They kill the Vala now as well, and Lucifron, oh my god, he still has ultimate. He still has ultimate, and LOL is trying to rush back. He has the 20, so he should have resurgence up, and that at least will allow him to utilize that. But oh boy, like how fast did that turn? At the beginning it looked really good for mYi, and then suddenly they just like got completely eliminated there once again, except for the Brightwing. Really well done by them, and I mean congratulations to El Nexo, always being able to just turn these fights around. Really well done. Now we have the core already being attacked. The problem that you have on an Abathur is that once that you have those keeps down, there's very little that you can do to really pressure the core. As long as you like put some like catapults in position, you will be able to take maybe the shields down, but your chances of actually doing damage to the core are slim to none. So you need to have camps for that. So Abathur at this point, we're just going to try and push the lanes and just like keep the opponent pushed back as much as he can, but he cannot really hope to do serious damage to them. Oh, wow, Lucifron actually gets away there. Lucifron got away there. The plant is already growing for El Nexo. They have that ready. And, well, we are seeing them move down to the bottom. If they get another plant there, that big horror, if they take that one out, then that also means that we are, of course, having a big surplus for them for the second night. But they want to deny the plant to mYi, and that's why they're running. Grand Paquete, they're getting polymorphed, getting gorged as well. And they're moving up against Lowell. Grand Paquete moves in, but there is no stun for him just yet. He doesn't really use it yet, but he has his speed already down. Here comes the ultimate by Shinobu, the stun! And there it is! But they lost the Chen already. Oh, and they lost the Uther too. Uther a bit too late. This time the team setup did not work out at all. That was especially Chen's, Chen did really well in that fight. But the problem is, of course, now he's dead, and the immediate kill against the Muradin, that turns the tide once more. Abathur on the copy of the Tigers is doing the work again. The beginning went really well for mYinsanity, moving in, denying the Uther ultimate, and just making sure that he doesn't get that off. Then they killed, first of all, the Chen, who still had his resurgence up, and them themselves, they lost too much. They lost the Stitches, who of course went back, but they also lost the Muradin. They are not losing any hit points on the core just yet, and with the Uther still being down for 26 seconds, there's not going to be any like definite move by their opponent. But still, like, these fights that they have, they're doing really well at the beginning with the Ace of Spades trying to deny the mass stun on the Uther, and then granted, sometimes with the Anubarak. But then they are starting to move back to that, and they are still struggling there. Now it's an attempt to get a plant on their own. There's Lucifron still in the plant, and well, the problem is really if they lose this plant too, then we're going to see another plant for their opponent, and there's already the move back. And with 20 minutes on the clock, this is already doing damage. Like, the plant is really starting to do some work here. And they're just moving back. They're trying to get the polymorph once again. Stitches can go for the hook, of course, and there it is. And that kills time on the plant. That's only another minute that they have it, and Lucifron so far hasn't been able to do any kind of real damage. But that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the second plant in a row, because the next plant is going to be even stronger, and taking this one, taking those seeds, is not only give them another plant, it is going to make sure that myi doesn't get a plant, and that's the more important part, I feel. So we have the entire lineup of the red team at the right side trying to defend. They are trying to defend the core. They're extremely pressured. Now with the mercenaries up again, what they're trying to do is just like capture as many as they can. Oh, look at that! Who dropped that guy? Who dropped the dwarf? Like, seriously, who did that? Who did that? I mean, that gnome there feels very, very lonely. I have no idea who put that there. But yeah, that's actually Get the gnome, and Get is pretty unhappy because he feels neglected and just like simply put in the dirt, and he's still there. Like, look at that guy. Who dropped them? I've never seen that guy in this position first. Uh-oh. Whoa, the trap! The trap! Oh, goodbye, Uther. He could still go for the stun. Oh, Alistar. Wow. Oh, that dodge. That just barely, like, last second dodge that we had there. 23 versus 22. That's the current like position in the game when it comes to experience and levels. But still, this is extremely powerful shit right now. I mean, look at all those forts that are still up for El Nexo. They have forts everywhere. They're using the Mule of the Abathur to do his thing. Talking about Abathur, let's have a quick look at the siege damage here. 230,000 siege damage already on the Abathur. The hero damage, 54,000. He's still leading the charts there. And Shinobu is on Vala, close seconds with 52. They are still defending everything. They know that they have a little bit of breathing room right now. And what they did with that is also delay this plan. They delayed the plan because what are they going to do? What is like El Nexo going to do? They're waiting as long as they can so that the Uther has a chance of getting back. And yep, that's what they're currently doing here. So they're waiting for as long as they can. There it is, and now they're trying to just like start and move in with that. As the Uther comes back to the game, they have a full lineup again, and they can go up against that. This is the plan that you really need to defeat without taking too many losses, and that's a difficult one. Because right now there's nothing else on the board. There is no keep. There's no structure anymore. This is just all about El Nexo moving in, trying to finish that game. Trying to make sure that this game ends in their favor. Look at that burst against LOLverse60's plan. They already took down nearly a third or more than a third of the hit points on the planet, and that was an important one. Getting shit like that done right now, that's what they really need to do. Like, drop that plan. Drop it as fast as they can so that when it gets in range of the core, that it's not going to survive there. But they're waiting for Vortex. The copy on the Abathur is there. There's another attempt to drop the plan. They're doing well. They're doing really well with it. But it's double Odin right now. It's double Odin. It's the stun, and this is the time where they say like, alright, this is where we take our stand. They move in, El Nexo, they try to take it down. Lucifron, they all just go for the right click, 50% on the core of mYinsanity, and this, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Once again, El Nexo successful against mYinsanity, winning the best of 3 series with a 2-1 against mY. Congratulations, and good luck, of course, in the semifinals.